Hello, and welcome to Whiskey with Rye. I'm Rye. Whiskey I'm with, Willett Pot Still Reserve Bourbon. On each episode of Whiskey with Rye, we'll talk about the distillery, the mash bill, and the nose and taste three different ways: straight, with water, and on the rocks. So, the Willett Pot Still Reserve is from the Willett Distillery. Big shocker, right? This one comes in at 94 proof, and unfortunately, there's not a released mash bill with it. It looks like it's about 75% corn, 15% rye, and maybe 10% barley. But there's no definitive answer out there as to what exactly the mash bill is for this. The bottle, as you can see, is very unique. This is the 1.75 bottle. I believe that's what it is. It's the big one. Yeah, 1.75 liters. But the bottle is to actually match the pot still that they use. So if you go to the distillery, this one was part of the craft. It was part of the craft bourbon trail when we went. You will see the actual still, and it's very close to how this looks as well. All copper, obviously not glass. This quickly became one of my favorites. We went there on a complete whim. Someone just happened to mention it to my buddy and I, Podman, who you've seen in previous episodes. Just happened to mention it to Dev and I, so we decided to give it a shot. And we are extremely glad we did. Quickly became one of our favorites. So we like normal. We are going to jump into our tastings and nosings. It's going to be a little more difficult to pour, just because of how giant the bottle is. But we'll give it our best shot. So. That. Let's just put this back here. Oh, smells like brown sugar on the hands already. Looking forward to it. So, let's jump into the nose. Neat, straight. So as you get your first smell, like normal, it does have a little bit of alcohol to it. But as you go back, it has a little bit of that brown sugar. Some of the caramel, and you can tell it's a bourbon because there is that corn note in there as well. Kind of like freshly steamed sweet corn mixed with like cornmeal. And also on the very back, as I keep going back to it, the very end, there's a hint of cherry as well. Kind of a little bit of a medicinal cherry, not strong medicinal, but a little bit of medicinal cherry. So, and as you can tell, with the Willett glass, obviously this was one of my favorites. So, cheers, and let's dive into tasting of the neat whiskey. So, first sip, really hit by the wood notes. Get a lot of the oak flavor from it, with a little bit of, I want to say, a cherry at the end. Going back, the wood definitely stands out. Subtle sweetness through there. It's a little thin, so it kind of dissipates from your mouth pretty quick. Yeah, a lot of oak and a lot of cherry from that, which is different from how I remember it. So it just shows how everything that you do throughout the day, the time of day, what you've had to eat, what you've had to drink, um, your mood, everything like that will really affect what you get out of a glass of whiskey. So, we could do uh, the same whiskey every day and come up with something different out of it a lot of the time. If there's multiple things in it, if it's not just super simple, which I would not say this is. It's not super simple. It does lean more towards the simple side. But again, and there's some pepper right at the back end, still kind of lingering in the mouth. Again, using Glencairn as always, I will add just a little water. And we are going to my handy dandy Yeti, as always. Pop in a rock. See if the dog wants one. I don't think he did. So, all right, let's jump back into the Willett Pot Still Reserve with water now. So really open the cherry, and the wood comes through more on the nose as well. With a hint of vanilla and caramel on the back. Yeah, the vanilla starts to come through right on the end. So let's jump into the taste. So the water amazingly brings out the wood even more. As well as the this pepperiness from the rye on the finish. So the front is really oak heavy, falls a little bit to a little hint of sweetness, and then back up with pepper, black pepper. And the pepper note starts to take over from the oak from beginning to end. Kind of hides the sweetness in the middle as well as you keep going back, which I do because I really enjoy this whiskey. Yeah, it's quite enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's one that you're going to take a lot of time picking apart. Um, it's more towards the simple side, but there are some complexities to it. So now let's jump in Roxport. Oh wow! So the cooling it, chilling it, and watering it at the same time um, has really brought out a rich butterscotch on the nose. Not quite like the artificial butterscotch, but definitely a butterscotch. That's all I'm really getting on the nose now. Taste? The butterscotch does come through on the taste as well. Um, so hints of pepper on the back end. Yeah, it's really those two flavors. They're not competing. I'd say the butterscotch comes up, finishes, and then the pepper comes in right after the butterscotch finish. They don't really overlap each other. No, that's it has a vegetative taste as well. Kind of on the finish there, along with the pepper. It's almost like a green salad with black pepper. Um, as weird as that is to say. There's the butterscotch back. Yeah. So I would do neat, then on the rocks, and then water in my list of preference. Um, but I still enjoy this whiskey a lot. Glad we decided to randomly go to an extra distillery that day, Podman and I, and look forward to hopefully going back sometime soon. Hopefully, not too far away. So just as a reminder, if you did enjoy this video, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment. If there's something you would like to see in the future, I can't guarantee it, especially if it's a hard to find bottle. But if there is something you would like to see in the future, let me know and I'll see what I can do. So until next time, cheers.